Happy Lunar New Year!
Did you all clean your house? Make sure you cleaned your house and washed your hair and did all of your cleaning related chores before midnight on February 1st. If you don't, the Yen monster will come and gobble you up for breakfast the first of New Year.
Yum, yum, yum. Delicious.
I've been telling this lie to everybody all day.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few people believed me. I'm actually kind of disappointed.
Well, if you keep telling them it's a lie, they're not going to believe
No,
you.
it was on different sites. So I told my friend group one thing. Oh, and then one of them took the superstitions a little too seriously.
Mm.
You know which one.
Uh-huh.
And then I told my Discord buddies group for that one anime we all like, and they were just kind of like, it's just Panda being chaotic again. But we don't really know for sure because Panda's the only Chinese person here because it's a very, very, very small Discord. And then on my Facebook, I wrote that just for shits and giggles, knowing that I have loads of Chinese friends, and one of them said, "Let it take me." So,
all right. Are you ready for the next chapter of Worm? Don't look at me like that.
I was, but now I'm no longer. I'm ready for Worm now. Worm.
All right. Are you ready for Worm?
I don't know. Am I?
I think you are. This next chapter is about 4,600 words.
Okay, well, let's see how far I get before I pass out.
Sounds good. Pray, 14.6. Wards, Weld hollered.
Oh man, that was loud. I almost choked on my soda.
Yeah. Weld hollered. Crawler and Mannequin, like we discussed, close ranks around Victoria. His words broke the spell that the scene had over Vista and Flechette. Surprising that there were so few wards here on a level.
Are any of them dead?
Good question. Some of them died in the Leviathan fight.
Oh yeah. A lot of cannon fodder in this series, really. You never know who's gonna be a cannon fodder or who isn't. I mean, it's like, roll of the dice. But I still remember. I thought it was funny. Sorry.
Kidwin wasn't in sight, nor was Chariot, and Clockblocker was under the sway of his own powers. Shadowstalker, Aegis, Gallant, and Browbeat
Shadowstalker's still here?
were dead or gone. Shadowstalker, Aegis, Gallant, and Browbeat were dead or gone.
Oh yeah, that's right. Didn't Gallant die?
Yes, Gallant died.
Yeah, man, there was some drama there. Was it Aegis? I don't remember Aegis too well.
Aegis was the one with the redundant body parts.
Okay.
Right. So he was able to like tank a lot of things, and also like I think he was able to fly a little too.
Right. And who was the last one?
Browbeat. Browbeat died during the Leviathan fight as well.
Right.
It's actually, Browbeat is kind of a running joke in the community because he actually did not die in the Leviathan fight originally. He just disappeared from the story. Like, yeah, no one ever mentioned him again. And everyone was just like, oh, who's Browbeat? Oh, maybe he actually became imp or something.
Oh, and then Wildbow wrote it in that.
Yeah, Wildbow was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. And he wrote in Browbeat's death.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't even remember what his powers were.
Honestly?
Nobody does, huh?
I don't either.
Sorry, Val.
I think it was something like the more force he takes, the more he can return, or something like that.
He's a little crawlery then, isn't he?
A little bit, I guess.
Go on.
The final, sorta maybe member of the group, Glory Girl, was being eaten alive by Crawler's acid.
Okay, well, I mean, good for her, I guess. I don't like her. My friend had a very fussy patient, and she gave me like a very, very brief description. I'm like, so in the interest of patient confidentiality, I'm gonna just call her Victoria. The name stuck. So patients of that specific category very specific category. We just call them Victorias now.
Fair.
Sorry. I know I should feel more sympathetic considering she's the person on your phone, but I don't give a shit.
You don't have to give a shit.
I don't give a shit. I'm on Team Panacea right now because you know what? I feel bad for her, and I know things are gonna change, like come the events of Ward and all. But Glory Girl can fucking eat it. I don't care.
The tower is here.
Hello, Tower.
And he says, R.I.P. Glory Hole's face.
Her face is a glory hole.
Mm-mm.
Is that what we're gonna call her mouth from now on? The glory hole.
Sure.
Nose. I don't know. Oh, is Crawler gonna punch? Oh, is he eating glory holes into Glory Girl? Is he like, you know?
Hey,
Sorry.
so many glory holes. Vista and Flechette moved to positions just behind and to either side of Weld. The group blocked Crawler's view of Glory Girl. Miss Militia directed the adult heroes with a series of short commands and hand signals. Ursa and Assault led the way, with Miss Militia, Prism, Battery, and Triumph following, clearly aiming to flank Crawler and close the distance between them and Mannequin. Crawler spat, and Vista used her power, reducing the distance the spit traveled to 1/10 of what it might have been. Crawler leaped, and she widened the distance between him and everyone else, so he stood in the midst of a clearing. Flechette fired a bolt straight into Crawler. It penetrated his face and stuck there. Little surprise on that front. I'd seen her stick Leviathan with one of those giant needles. Crawler's face bubbled around the wound, where it was rejecting the foreign object. Almost imperceptibly, it began to slide out. He rumbled with a low guttural laugh, mocking. Was he enjoying himself?
Yes, the answer is yes.
I don't know if they can hear you from there. She says the answer is yes. He was a masochist, and it was the rare thing that could hurt him. Miss Militia interrupted his gloating with a shot from a rocket launcher. His claws dug deep into pavement as he resisted being knocked over. She used her power to reload the rocket launcher and shot him again, uprooting him. Triumph used the full power shout to send Crawler sliding across the clearing Vista had made. Vista widened the distance by stretching the landscape. Prism and Battery went after Mannequin. Prism split into 3 copies of himself, complete with fireproof suit, closing in as Battery used her power to cross the distance and trade blows. I was only peripherally aware of Prism, given how she was based in New York, but seeing her in action reminded me of how she operated. She was a self-duplicator, always producing 2 other versions of herself, but there were nuances. So long as one duplicate lived, she would survive whatever happened to the others. But
she's twice.
Yeah, she's twice. Not exactly though, right? Because twice from MHA, there is an original and there are clones, and the clones, if the original dies, we're pretty sure the clones die too, you know? Whereas with Prism here, as long as one survived, she would survive whatever happened to the others. But they didn't last long. She could also expend them to enhance herself. It made her an effective partner for Battery. Both were all about the setup, followed by execution. Prism formed her duplicates and spread them out while Battery attacked, then drew her duplicates back into herself in a flash of light before delivering a crushing strike.
Cool.
Mannequin was holding his own. The hits that did land seemed to have little effect, as he went limp and bent with them. It seemed he was keeping to the old adage of a supple willow bending in a hurricane that topples a sturdy oak.
Willow?
Supple willow,
okay.
Yeah. Even when Battery was moving at super speed, he was quick to take the advantage of a kick that went too high or a sweep aiming to knock his feet out from under him. He ducked beneath the former and hopped over the ladder, then used his grappling hook hands to haul himself a distance away. He managed to get close enough to cut down 2 of Prism's duplicates, then pointed his hand at her third self, extending a blade from the base of his hand and firing it like a harpoon. Battery used up her charge and swept it aside before it could strike home and finish off the heroine. Ursa, Triumph, and Assault were getting into the thick of things, with Crawler, while Miss Militia and Flechette aided them from a distance. Ursa was creating force fields in the rough shape of bears, 2 at a time. Weld stood, defending the 2 female members of the wards. Glory Girl was looking worse for wear with every passing second. "Weld!" I shouted, drawing the beetle as close as I dared with the heat and smoke beneath me. "What can I do?" "More bombs on Mannequin!" he shouted. "I'm out!" I replied. "Then get out of here! You'll be one less person we have to protect. Our front line's pretty thin." Weld half turned to glance back at Glory Girl, and I could see his expression change as he saw how bad she was. It was reaching the point that we might have to leave her for dead.
Ooh!
There were spots where the muscle had necrotized enough
Ew!
that I could make out her internal organs.
Oh my god, that's really gross!
If the redness was any indication, the acid was extending to her vitals. "Evac Victoria and Cash on your way out." Evac. The last time I'd had a scale to check, months ago, I'd weighed 118 pounds. With my gear, my costume, maybe that added up to 120. I had my doubts the beetle could manage me if I was even 10 pounds heavier. How could I carry someone larger than me, in addition to myself? Maybe I didn't have to.
Oh, no, 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 no. Don't be a hero. You're not a hero. I know this is like the central struggle and blah, 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 but Taylor, stop it. No. Bad Tay-Tay. No. She's gonna do it.
Had to think out of the box. If I could get her out of here, and if the beetle could manage her, I could remotely pilot it to Amy. Those were 2 pretty huge ifs.
Is that really a good idea right now? Doesn't she kind of hate Amy's guts right now? Is she going to accept healing? Is she going to accept it? Is it going to go badly?
Good question.
It's going to go badly, isn't it? That's a bad idea.
Those were 2 pretty huge ifs. No, couldn't pin my hopes on that. I saw Cash using his power on himself. He was barely able to crawl, but he surrounded himself in his dark geometry, disappearing as it condensed down to a point.
His dark geometry. Sorry.
He'd taken himself out of this dimension. I wasn't sure if it was a journey of no return or a way to get some respite.
Porque no los dos.
But his use of his power gave me another idea. Glory Girl had powers, too.
Mm-hmm.
"Can she fly?" I shouted. "What?" Weld asked. He glanced up at me, then turned his attention back to the fight. His body was tensed and ready to act the second Crawler made a move for his teammates. "Ask her if she can fly. She's insensate. Try." He turned back.
Insensate?
Yep.
Is that a word?
It is a word, yes.
What does it mean? Definition, please.
Here.
I haven't been at a spell bowl in a long time. Do people still do that? Spelling bowls? Not spelling bee, spell bowls. I don't remember.
All right. Insensate. Lacking physical sensation.
I don't think that's a word I've ever used before.
Yeah, so lacking physical sensation. Other definitions are lacking sympathy or compassion.
Hey!
Or completely lacking sense or reason. I think it might be the first definition.
No, I think all 3 of them fit very well here. Look, I don't like her.
He turned back to the superheroine and said something I couldn't make out.
Die.
If she responded, I didn't hear it. Weld extended his arms into 2 long poles. They extended 10 feet, then 15, then 30. Reaching back, he caught Glory Girl with the ends, bending the tips to encircle her body. "Wait," I said. He glanced up at me, then over at Crawler. The villain was spitting at Assault, who slid on the ground to evade the spray. Crawler took advantage of the gap in the defensive wall to stampede towards Vista and Flechette. Vista increased the distance, but not as fast as Crawler crossed it. Under pressure, choosing the protection of his teammates as his top priority, Weld ignored my plea for a moment to think. He twisted his entire body to haul Glory Girl into the air, throwing her at me like a catapult might throw a boulder.
Uh-oh. Is Wald gonna die? Is Wald gonna die? I actually like him! Did you take Victoria instead? I don't like her! No! I mean, he's kind of... I kind of remember his interlude with it. He's kind of a goober and he doesn't quite get it.
But he was likable, right?
He's a nice dude. He's doing the best he can. At least he's not a bitch, you know? He's not a punk ass bitch. So he's trying. I'll give him credit for look, I'll give him credit for just not being an asshole.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I don't know why. I have such a strong impression of Victoria being kind of an asshole.
In her interlude, she was just really angry.
I'm not talking necessarily about the interludes. I feel like from what we saw of her from Taylor's perspective, I feel like she acted like an asshole.
Fair.
So I don't really have a lot of sympathy.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not a nice panda.
I changed my orientation so I'd be ready to catch her. Rather than try to wrap my arms around her.
You know, Taylor, no one's gonna fault you if you miss.
I think Weld might fault her.
Look, you're already a villain. I'm just saying.
I moved so we were racing alongside her as she arced through the air. It gave me only a second or two to make the call about grabbing her. I didn't want to get that acid on me.
She's still gonna be an asshole to you even after you save her. Just a heads up.
I grabbed at the two things that seemed safe. The intact portion of her lower costume and her hair.
Yeah.
I pulled back, hauling on both, but the beetle wasn't able to offer the necessary lift. She was insensate with pain, and she struggled at what I was doing to her. I momentarily wondered if she'd hit me or the beetle with one of those punches that could crush stone. Worse, if she grabbed me and it couldn't break away, I'd plummet to the ground with her. Fly! I screamed the word. Lift up, Glory Girl! Her face was melting on one side.
Oh!
Her eyes a ruin, her ear and the surrounding area of her head a bloody mess.
Oh, damn!
I wondered if she could even hear me.
Oh, wow. That is a lot. Wow. Wow. Karma is a bitch, isn't it, sweetheart? I don't even remember what she did. I actually don't even remember what she did. I just remember, for some reason, I have a very, very strong impression of her being an asshole.
That's fair. We can probably sit down and actually review the things that she's done.
Yeah, but I just want, right now, I want to keep moving on. I also just want to be like, Karma's a bitch, isn't it, sweetheart? Isn't it?
Fair.
You have my sympathies, I said sarcastically. Go on. Oh, damn, you melted.
I wondered if she could even hear me. I was getting dragged down. How long before I had to make the call about letting go? It would mean letting her fall back into the burning city street. Maybe her force field would protect her, but the acid would continue to eat into her until it got at something especially vital. So
basically, so once the acid's on, it just kind of stays on. Like, is there any sense in washing it away by any chance? Because in real life, this is the OSHA protocol. If you get something caustic in your eyes or on your body, you want to wash for 15 minutes. Would washing do anything here? I'm just asking.
I don't even know. Theory, this is Proller's acid, right?
So that's why I'm asking. Would it do anything?
She would die slowly and painfully. Burning to death would almost be a mercy. Rise! Fly! I shouted. She began to lift up. I took the opportunity to let go of her hair, grabbing at the one hand that wasn't covered in acid. I pulled on her hand, and she followed my lead. We moved as fast as my beetle was able. I knew she could fly faster, would have compelled her to even push me and the beetle forward if I thought I could have handled the navigation. As a group, we passed over a red-scaled wingless dragon that I took to be Genesis, wading through the flames on her way to the site of the battle.
A red-scaled wingless dragon. Doesn't that just make it a lizard?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wingless dragons could be Chinese style. Asian style dragon. No wings.
Yeah, they're snakes. We think of them as, well, they call snakes little dragons. You remember that, right?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, so it's just a snake with a fancy head. So if it's a Chinese dragon, then it's a snake with a fancy head. Now, if we're talking like Western dragons, then that just makes it a lizard.
Okay, there.
I'm sorry.
My beetle needed a name. Had to have a better way of referring to it.
You needed a name for it? Oh my god, what are you gonna name it? It's so cute. Call it Killer. I'm kidding. I'm kidding! Why are you writing that down?
A Hercules beetle, but bigger. A giant.
Do not call it Herc. Please do not. That is...
I thought about Hercules, about the myth. Hercules had borrowed the burden of the giant who carried the world.
Does she still have Victoria in her hands?
Yes.
So she's carrying somebody by the hair who has her skin literally melting off and dripping onto the street below. And Taylor's sitting here going, hum. Greek mythology. What do I remember? I'm sorry. This is just really funny.
That's pretty funny. She swapped over to holding her hand, though.
Okay, sure, but sure. Okay, so she's holding her hand, but the girl whose hand she's holding is still literally melting into the street, and she's just like, "What do I remember of Greek mythology? Think, Taylor, think, girl. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is really the right time."
Anyway, Hercules had borrowed the burden of the giant who carried the world. Atlas. Come on, Atlas.
That's a really good name, actually.
Come on, Atlas, I urged him. Faster. Dumb to talk to him when I knew for an absolute fact that he couldn't understand me. Maybe I was talking to myself. We found my teammates still clearing a path through the edge of the area. They were all walking, the dogs in a formation around them, Bitch holding up the distant rear with Bastard. I landed. Glory Girl didn't have the strength to stand and collapsed like a rag doll. Holy shit, Regent said as he saw the extent of the damage.
Yeah, seriously.
Amy went white as a sheet. Heal her. Just don't touch the spots where the acid hit her. I don't know what happened. Crawler spit on her, then knocked out her force field. Move! Fix your sister.
Fix it!
She staggered forward.
Wait, can she fix? Wait. She still. How much of her hands does she have left? Does she have hands left with which to fix?
Well, yeah. She's only had 3 or 4 fingers ripped off. Remember?
Right. Oh, and it wasn't even the full finger. It was just like the bits.
Yeah, just the joint
bits. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad.
She staggered forward and reached out toward Victoria. No, Victoria mumbled. You're dying, Gru spoke. No, Victoria repeated herself. Not. She coughed sharply and mumbled in the same breath and didn't bother trying to correct herself.
Oh my god. You're still gonna be like... On the one hand, okay, sure, I sympathize. You don't want the girl who fucked you up a little bit to fix you, but on the other hand, I'm just kind of like, would you rather die? I mean, like, listen, real talk here, I never mind dying. Like, I would never mind. But this here, being inconvenienced, being in pain, nah.
Mm-hmm.
This here, I'm just like, really, girl, really? I don't know, just, I know I'm not supposed to, like, you know, I know I don't know her that well, but I'm just like, this just makes me kind of hate her a little bit more.
Because she's being so stubborn, I guess?
Pretty much. Like, you won't even give Amy a chance to explain things. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I know maybe I'm getting Victoria a little bit confused with what's her face? Not Sophia, the other one, the redhead.
Emma?
Maybe I'm getting them a little bit confused, but they're kind of cut from a similar cloth. Like, I feel like, or at least that's the way that I feel like they've been portrayed a little bit. Either that, or maybe I've run into people who are kind of like this, and they are just kind of cut from a similar cloth. You know, privilege. Having certain sets of privileges. So I'm just kind of like, I guess it's really hard for me to like Victoria at all at this point in the story. And I know I haven't read Ward. I don't know why she's on your phone yet.
You don't need to read
Ward.
You
know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I find, on the one hand, I kind of understand where she's coming from because the interludes make her sympathetic, but on the other hand, I kind of don't care very much.
Fair.
If that makes sense.
That makes sense. And like,
because right now we're seeing her from Taylor's perspective, so I'm just seeing her being difficult and deciding to let her grudges and her stubbornness win out over common sense.
right.
And it's that bit that really sticks with me.
And a lot of people come away not liking Glory Girl after they finish Worm, or like after they've read these sections of Worm, you know? So, you're not alone in this. Absolutely.
Okay, that makes me feel better because a little part of me is
you
just
are not
kinda like,
alone.
okay. All right. It's just like I can't help but be a little bit mad at her here because I mean, again, we're seeing this from Taylor's perspective, but I almost want to slap her and be like, "Wake up and smell the acid, sweetheart.
Right?
Is this really the time?"
Do it anyways, Tattletale said. Victoria swung with her good hand, slamming it into the sidewalk. Cracks spider-webbed out from the impact site. She coughed. No! If she hits me, she'll kill me, Amy said. Okay, Tattletale said. If she doesn't want help, you shouldn't give it. She's not thinking straight. What I did doesn't matter, Tattletale said.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, you know what? Let her die. Fuck her.
Amy shook her head, talking over her. She's always been emotional, passionate, unrestrained, and she's channeling all this new emotion into hate because it's the closest equivalent. New emotion? Regent asked. You mean you mind raped her?
Coming from Regent, that's coming from Regent. Regent! If Regent is saying that means it's pretty bad. I mean, what does Regent do? What has he done?
Right?
Ooh, this is juicy. I need another can of soda soon.
Amy looked like she'd been slapped across the face.
Ow! Oh, he's right though. Ooh.
I wasn't surprised, but hearing it said out loud was unsettling. Seriously? Imp voiced the incredulity that everyone else seemed to be feeling. It was an accident, Amy said. How do you do that by accident? Imp asked.
Okay, Imp is also somebody whose opinions I'm just kind of like, Imp is also not somebody I can count on to think straight.
You think Imp's going to be unreasonable as well?
Imp has never struck me as a reasonable person.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Enough, Tattletale cut in.
She's the 15-year-old Hellion. From the sound of it, she sounds almost like the kind of foster teen that like makes the system look bad, you know? Like,
yeah,
she sounds like the kind of person who cannot be helped through her own volition. So,
Victoria, listen. I'm gonna pour some sterile water over you, and hopefully it'll flush some of the acid away. Okay?
There you go. Yeah. Oh, it might get a little bit, but it could also spread. You got to do it for 15 minutes, and unfortunately, you're going to do it under like not high pressure, but like a decent amount of pressure, which means anything that's already necrotized and destroyed will be washed away and destroyed. So, you know, with just a little bit of water, that's not going to be enough. And you don't want to bathe in it. You need running for anything like this, caustic matter. You need to be running under it you need the water to be running for 15 minutes.
So that instead of spreading it, it actually
washes everything out. Okay. Yes, correct. Because if it's just a little bit of water in a pool, so it's going to spread the acid because we don't know what kind of solubility this acid is, right? Is it fat? Is it fat soluble? Is it acid soluble? Is it like water soluble? We don't know, right? Because also it's crawler, so there's no way to know. But yeah, like, good try, but like you're gonna need a lot of water, and I think even dumping her in Brockton Bay may not be like the most useful because again, you could spread it. Ouch.
I don't know what else we can do for you. I know you can't see, so don't be surprised when it happens. Victoria turned her head slightly, but she didn't respond. Okay, Tattletale said. She didn't have water in her hand. Instead, she grabbed Amy and shoved her in Glory Girl's direction.
Oh my god!
Amy looked at her, scandalized and horrified, but Tattletale only mouthed the word, go.
Okay, Lisa, you are a scary bitch and I love you more now. Damn, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like it. You know what's interesting here? It seems to me like the villains are more willing to do whatever it takes to save a life and to save people than the heroes are.
Well,
With the exception of Amanda Waller there.
Here's kind of here's an interesting thing, right? Because from your perspective as a medical professional, right? You kind of hate it when patients refuse treatment.
To me, what actually the thing is, here's the thing. What I really hate is when people make decisions based on a lack of information and dig their heels in even when information is available. So like for somebody like you come to see me regularly. I mean, this is just, you know, this is gonna all sound really bad. So this is why I'm glad none of you know who I actually am, because I don't want to, I mean, I feel like I'm taking a huge risk here by even voicing this kind of an opinion. But the thing that really annoys the hell out of me, like the reason why, and I think maybe I'm not speaking for everybody here, but I have heard stories about people quitting the field because of COVID. And when I say the field, the entire medical field, because that same kind of pig-headedness and obstinacy that has cost millions of people their lives and their livelihood, this is a microcosm. This is just like a little microcosm of that bigger thing. Like when somebody like you, when you come to see me, you come in for your checkups every 6 months, you come in for your cleanings, and, you know, I don't need you to take all of my advice to heart. I mean, I'm extremely happy knowing that I have converted a lot of patients over the years into actually flossing and caring for their teeth. I'm actually very happy by that. But like you coming in, if I tell you about a cavity and you keep wanting to like watch it for like a few sessions, but you know, every once in a while you will agree to like, okay, you know what, let's go ahead and take care of this one thing. I see this as you coming in regularly, and you're making a conscious, cognizant decision. The thing that actually gets me annoyed is when people kind of refuse to listen. If I tell you that like we can fix you, and then you decide that it's more important for you to save money than it is to potentially look after your own physical health. That pisses me off, to tell you the truth. Because like I've had to convince people of some really wild shit. I've had to convince people that getting an X-ray will not mutate your breast milk. It will not affect your infant who has already been born and who has not been anywhere within like 3, 4, 5 miles of our office. It's not possible for your infant to be affected by that. That's not how it works. Mutations don't affect things like, not like, it can't, like one X-ray is not going to affect your breast milk. One X-ray is like a fraction of the equivalent of you walking around, because a full set of X-rays, a full battery of digital X-rays at a dental office is the equivalent of walking around outside with, you know, background radiation, like from like airwaves and all that for like 3-4 days. So I've had to like try to convince people that getting medical care is good for them. It's very, very annoying to me anyway, when people refuse to listen to that kind of thing. I get annoyed when help is available, cheap, easy help that is covered by your health insurance most of the time. Like there's like an easy fix oftentimes, right? Like what I get annoyed at is some of my patients just deciding that they don't want to take care of their cavities. Every single year, they don't want to take care of their cavities, or they don't want to take care of like a infection that I can see in their X-rays getting bigger and bigger and getting closer and closer to like the maxillary sinus or the nerve. I have one guy, I don't know how long he's going to keep his jaw because the infection has grown so big, it is eating through his actual jaw. And every year he decides not to do anything. And every single doctor who has seen him has tried to convince him to get something done. Like it's really bad. I'm used to seeing stuff like this. So this makes me annoyed when I don't think you're listening to anybody, when I think you don't care what happens to you.
Yeah.
And all you're coming in for is like a checkup, and you don't listen to anything that we say. You know, I mean, it's not even just the fact that that puts us as a clinic like in like potential legal issue, but it's just, it makes me annoyed when people refuse to care for themselves. And when I say refuse to care for themselves, I'm not saying you're not eating like a potato chip. I'm saying you're people who are actually ignoring like either life-threatening or other major problems that could very much affect the quality of life. And then you just decide that that's not a big deal. You just decide that you would much rather save, I don't know, $100. And I understand everyone's got a different situation, but if you're walking around with like a brand name purse and you'd rather save $100 than actually save like a part of your face, that makes me annoyed. And it just makes me think, why did I sign up for this? What am I doing my job for? I took this because I wanted to care for people, and you don't care for yourself.
So let me ask you if this situation with Glory Girl reminds you of that.
It's a little bit annoying because, I mean, the thing is, we don't see into Glory Girl's head right now. Look, honey, if you want to die, that I understand. Just explain that to me. If you actually want to die, because that's the situation she's in right now, right? She could die.
She could die.
She could very much die.
Well might die.
Listen, I'm suicidal. Why do I like Dazai Osamu so much from Bungo Stray Dogs? I'm suicidal. I get it. You know what? If you want to just tell me that, like, if you tell me that you are making an informed decision that you don't care anymore, that you're signing a DNR, like, I'm not that kind of medical professional, but, you know, a DNR, I will understand.
Right.
If you made that kind of decision beforehand, I understand. But here, I can't see where this decision-making process is coming from.
Right.
For a lot of people, the reason I get annoyed sometimes at my patients is because, like, this is a cultural thing. We're Chinese, and I understand culturally for only for this specific subset, I understand where the logic is. The logic is, oh, my tooth isn't worth that much money. My quality of life, it's not worth the money. It's not that much money, but it's not worth it. That is like the active decision people make. This, I don't know what her decision-making process is. I don't know why she's choosing, like, why specifically. I know one of the reasons why specifically she's choosing this is because she's afraid that Amy's going to do something to her.
Right.
Like, I get that. But, like, you know, part of the frustration is we're seeing this from Taylor's point of view. Even so, we know that she had, like, an issue here. But on the other hand, it's just kind of, the reason why it's a little annoying and baffling is, look, honey, you're a hero. You want to be a hero. You want to save people. This is one of those situations where you can save others if you take care of yourself. And the thing is, Amy is sorry. I genuinely believe it. And Amy is hesitant to touch you. And Amy wants to fix it. Look, perhaps if you guys got your teenage heads out of your asses and gave this enough time, and maybe Pago finally decided to spring for fucking therapy, for fucking CBT, maybe things could get unfucked. Like, it's right now, this is a battle. This is war, isn't it?
Right.
So sometimes if you're out in the trenches, someone's gonna have to break your arm to reset it for like a second. And then once you're out of the trenches again and everything's peaceful and you can like sit in the hospital for a month, then they can reset your leg.
Right.
That kind of, or this, I think I said arm in the first place, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is that situation here. So you're telling me that you would much rather, so here, what she's doing here is telling me you would much rather die than continue the fight. You would much rather die than let somebody help you. I understand that it's going to be tough because there's this whole abuse thing happening here, but at the same time, we don't know 100% how that first thing happened. We don't know if it's going to happen again. And the thing is, we don't know if there is the possibility to unfuck this. I mean, now that I've said that aloud, like, okay, I get it. But, you know, just listen, if you want to die, tell us you want to die.
Right.
Okay? If you want to die, tell us you want to die. If you don't want to die and you want to keep fighting, and if you want to live, make the commitment to try to get yourself to live. That's all. That's where I'm just getting a little like, ugh. Okay, because, you know, I'm just like, look, just die, okay? If you want to die, die. If you want to live, make the decisions that allow you to live. Right now, this is the only situation, this is the only solution you have right now because no one else has healing powers. I mean, maybe Gru could, like, steal them, but is Gru here?
He is. He's here.
How long is he going to take it? How long is it going to take him to steal Panacea's powers and learn how to, like, fix her?
That's a very good question. I think...
Will the acid eat through Glory Girl's internal organs by the time he figures it out?
I think Gru mentioned that he's uncomfortable using Amy's power. I think that he mentioned, because that he has a sense of her power, but that, like, it's
hard to use, right?
It's hard to use.
Yeah, which would make sense because the human body is really complex. I had to go to school for 4 years just to figure out fucking teeth. That's just it. That's it. Just teeth. Like, and there's like a lot of things that I still have to send you a specialist to. So yeah, I can understand why this is difficult. So, you know, I'm just kind of annoyed at the stubbornness here because Glory Girl, I'm just like, Glory Girl, are you a hero or not? Do you want to live or not? Do you want to help people or not? You're answering no. Right now, everything, the answer to all of that is no. And it seems like the villains are actually more dedicated trying to help and save the city and your teammates who are dying out there, by the way, than you. Yours right now, she's telling me that her teammates' lives don't matter as much as her own little grudge. And that's why I'm mad.
All right, I'm going to keep reading.
I'm sorry, I think I said a lot.
You did.
Weird?
No, I wanted you to hop on this subject and like elaborate a little bit, right? Well, just the whole subject of refusing treatment and
you can absolutely refuse treatment. It's when refusal of treatment happens under ignorance that I get annoyed. If you're cognizant of everything, if I've explained that you could lose everything.
I think you already made it clear that in this situation, if Victoria had just said, "Let me die," you would have accepted it.
Yes, that's a valid decision for her because she's in a difficult situation. She's in a war. We don't know how well she's going to be fixed. If she knows the risk, the talk we have in American medicine is risk benefits alternatives. If she's aware of all the risk benefits and alternatives, and she has said, "Let me die," you have made it very clear what your wishes are.
Mm-hmm.
You have assessed the risks and benefits and alternatives for yourself, and this is the best decision you can for yourself. I respect that.
But okay, so let's look at this situation though, right? She clearly refused treatment from Amy, but accepted the treatment of pouring water over her, right? And instead of doing that, Tattletale pushed Amy forward.
Yeah. So part of this is on Tattletale. A lot of this is on Tattletale right now.
For sure, yeah.
Like, okay, this is why you're a villain. But I don't know. How do I put this? For Tattletale, this is also for me just being like, you know what? I mean, I like Tattletale, and I'm also just kind of like, this is that situation where this is Tattletale's answer to her stubbornness, I want to say.
To just cut through it, essentially.
Just be like, oh, you know what? Fine. If this is the only way to fix it, then this is the only way to fix it. I'm doing it.
All right.
And Tattletale's a villain. She's kind of in a gray zone, so she's not going to care too much about these things. Just is it cold in here today?
It's a little cold.
Okay.
Here.
No, I'm okay. I'm just kind of like, my hands are really cold.
Amy knelt by her sister and touched her hand. Glory Girl's back arched as if she'd been electrocuted, and then she went limp. Paralyzed, unable to resist. "I'm sorry," Amy said. So sorry. "Oh God, this is bad." None of the rest of us spoke. "I can't figure out what this venom is. I can't touch it to see if it's organic. I can only see what it's doing. At least part of it is enzymes. It's denaturing proteins in her cells and using the byproducts.
Oh my God, I know all this is.
Using the byproducts to build more enzymes, and it's breaking down lipids as a side effect. Shit. Oh God.
Ew.
And there's more to it. The fluid the enzymes are swimming in is some kind of acid."
In English, please. I'm kidding. I actually know what all this is, but I'm just kind of like, this is that point where somebody in the movie screams, "In English, please."
"Can you fix her?" Tattletale asked. "So much to do," Amy mumbled. "Have to counter the acid with some kind of physiological byproduct. Have to stop the enzymes from liquefying her entire body and repair the damage. Trying to make some kind of fire break to stop the spread of the venom. Withdraw the proteins the venom is using to propagate itself. There isn't enough tissue in her body for everything I need to do to fix her."
So this is an exam. Basically, this is an exam and diagnosis. And actually, I'm just thinking back about what you said about the water. She doesn't know. I would not trust Glory Girl to know the full risk benefits and alternatives of water. The whole, like, oh, maybe it could spread things.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
this probably is the only viable treatment for her.
Well, the thing is, Amy's doing a diagnosis.
Yeah.
So that this is so far okay. I mean, the circumstances were not great. I would not do any of this in a real life setting. All of this, I would just kind of be like, "Don't sue me." On the other hand, in real life, there's kind of a clause where if somebody is already dying, you can't be sued for trying to save their life. That's a thing in real life. Because, if somebody's already dying, well, they're dying. It's
Fair.
that whole thing. We had a CPR training last Friday where they said, listen, the main problem when people are doing CPR, you need to depress the chest about 2 inches or a little bit more, 2 to 2.25 inches. You have to depress that sternum down that far in order to reach the heart. And the main problem that a lot of people run into is that they're not pushing hard enough and they're not depressing hard enough. On a lot of more fragile people, yeah, you're going to hear a crack. You're going to hear the ribs break. But this is the 3rd time I've taken this class, maybe the 4th now. And every single instructor I've had has said the same thing. Listen, you're doing CPR to massage the heart. Without all of that, the person that you're trying to help, well, you do CPR and there's no pulse, right? That person is medically dead. Broken ribs can be fixed. The heart just never restarting. We can't do that. We can't do anything about that. So, yeah, Amy's in kind of that. This is kind of in one of those zones where you're getting into that gray zone here because, well, if nothing is done, she dies.
Yep.
So this actually, that also makes this situation very difficult to deal with.
It really is. It's a complex situation, right?
It's really hard to deal with because, like, well, listen, you do nothing, she dies. You try a bunch of things, maybe she doesn't die. Well, but she doesn't want you to try things. So which is why I'm just kind of like, look, if you want to die, just tell us you want to die, and we're all good. Ethically, we're good on all of it. If you don't want to die, do we have time to go over your options? We kind of don't.
Right. Fixing her body and healing all the damage can come later, Tattletale said, as if she were reassuring Amy. For now, keep her alive and fix what you did to her head.
Oh, can she? Can she fix what she did to her head?
I have enough to manage without worrying about that. There was a note of desperation in Amy's voice. It's as much a priority as anything else. I said it before. If you don't do it now, shut up, Amy snapped. I need to focus.
She angry.
We watched her work. The dissolving began to slow, then fix. The wounds weren't closing, but the necrotized edges of the ruined flesh was turning from black to crimson.
Oh, whoa. Did she just fix necrotization?
Seems like it.
Oh, damn, that really is impressive. I mean, the thing is, in real life, if something's necrotic, it's dead.
You can't fix it, right?
No, you can't bring the dead back to life. Is it dead tissue? You cut it off. Like a root canal, right? Oh, then the nerve is dead. You go in with a little file and you dig out the dead nerve and you hope that the infection heals itself. Usually it does. Usually it does after you've like cleaned it out, but that's what you do. If something is necrotic in real life, it's dead. It's not coming back. You have to remove it.
You gonna go back? Tattletale asked me. I shook my head and glanced over to where the cloud was glowing orange with the reflected flames. Nothing I could do. Too much fire. It cancels out my power, and it's dangerous for Atlas. Atlas. I like that.
I know, it's a good name.
I shrugged. I turned to Amy. Do you want...
got the whole world on his back. Sorry.
Do you want me to bring bugs? Maggots eat only dead flesh, which might be helpful if... No, I can handle that. Or I could get some more of the useless bugs, like the ones you use to make Atlas, for raw material.
Make what? Alice?
To make Atlas?
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, for raw material. Amy turned to give me an incredulous look. You said you didn't have enough tissue to patch everything together. If you wanted to put together a placeholder... I trailed off.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love this. Taylor, oh my god, you're so cute. Do not change.
Nice, Regent said. He could be a human spider hybrid.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's what I was thinking too. Like, that's Amy. Oh my... Not Amy. Taylor. Oh my god. Oh my god, Taylor. She's so cute. She doesn't get it. She really doesn't get it. Oh my god. Do you know what bugs are made out of? Wait, Taylor, you should know this, right? Like bugs, chitin. Come on. You can't you can't fix her with like chitin. That's not how it works. The compounds are different. Like, oh my god, having to break down bug compounds and turn the human compounds is hilarious. But Regent has it. You know what? I would love to see an 8-legged Ratoria. That just sounds hilarious. Like she's got like oh my god. I'm trying to think of all those. It's like I love the idea of turning Victoria into some kind of a B-movie monster where she's like part bug and part human and she like skitters around like like oh my god, something about that is hilarious. I say give her the materials. Try it, see if you like it. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Nice. She could be a human spider hybrid. Add some insult to injury with the mind rape thing. I could see Amy tense.
It's really funny though, but also like, damn, Regent, you know, you've got no tact.
I think that also for Regent, this might be kind of close to home, right?
Yeah.
Considering who his dad is.
Yeah.
I could see Amy tense. That's not what I'm saying, I told him. Amy was saying the enzymes were dissolving proteins and other stuff. The bugs would be a source of protein, vitamins, carbs. I'm a little surprised you know that, Gru commented.
Why are you surprised? She's like the biggest nerd you've ever stumbled across. If anybody would know stuff like this, it would be Taylor.
She's a huge geek, yeah.
She's such a nerd.
He didn't take his eyes off of Amy and Glory Girl.
Oh my god, this is so entertaining. I'm sorry. I'm just picturing Victoria as like a half human, half spider hybrid now. Like in Gravity Falls, you know those like the Black Widow lady. You know the one who like tried to eat Stan.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, she was blonde too. Oh my god, oh my god, this is great. This is great, man.
My power tells me some of it, I said, and I did some reading after we took over our territories, trying to research that stuff. It was an idle thought, but I was thinking that if we got into a food shortage, I could feed my people with bugs.
I mean, you can definitely feed your people with bugs. Wait, does Taylor not know that we eat bugs in other countries?
Yeah, I guess not.
White girls. Sorry, I had to say that. It's just, we eat crickets. In many parts of the world, you can like, what do people eat? Fried scorpion, fried grasshopper, crickets. I hear they taste like potato chips. Fried locusts.
Yeah.
Like, and grubs, mealworms.
Good stuff.
Like, it's just, man,
proteins.
Americans, y'all don't know, do you? And like most other countries, I think people or at least in developing nations or countries that have only recently hit a certain developed milestone, it's pretty common knowledge that, yeah, if you're hungry, you can eat some bugs. Hakuna Matata, bitch! Go
on. The tower has a comment. He says, Taylor considers herself equivalent to the world if her mount is Atlas.
Must I dignify that with a response? I'm kidding. Okay, good one.
Imp made a gagging noise.
Americans! Oh my god! Americans! Is Lion King not a thing in this world?
Hakuna Matata?
No, seriously, come on.
I think it is.
Hakuna Matata, guys, come on. It means no worries. Eat some bugs.
Wow, Regent said. See, you just started off by making me think you were warped and creepy because you were suggesting Panacea turn Glory Girl into some sort of bugborg. And now you're making me think you're creepy and weird because you wanted to feed bugs to people who aren't your enemy.
Oh my god, I hate all of you so much right now. Eat some fried grasshoppers. Try it.
It was just an idea, I said. Maybe more defensively than I should have. And bugs are nutritious. People all over the world eat them.
Thank you.
Have you? Gru asked.
Oh my god, I hate all of you so much right now. I love this. Panacea is trying desperately to fix Glory Girl, who is bleeding out and melting all over the ground like a snail who's been salted. And they're arguing over her almost dead corpse about whether or not it is gross to eat bugs. Just a normal high school teenage lunch conversation. Really, Brockton Bay has been destroyed for God knows how long, and you guys are just still like, ew, bugs, we can't eat those? Oh my god, the fucking privilege. I hate all of you.
I shook my head, but I would have tried them first if I decided to go ahead with that plan. Please, Amy cut in. Can you? I turned to her. It took me a second to realize what she meant, after the line of questioning from the others.
Can you what, eat bugs? Yes.
Yeah, of course, I told her. I began calling a swarm to me. I'd already exhausted the surrounding area of most, and the ones I hadn't already called forth were buried in the deepest recesses and most awkward areas, where it was so inefficient and time-consuming to bring them to me that I left them where they were. It took some time to bring them to the area. How is the battle going? Gru asked. The hero seemed to be managing, but I don't know how things are going to turn out, I said. I looked at Shatterbird, who floated above us. We could use her help. Don't trust myself to control her if she's too far away, Regent spoke. I made a face. Right. But she could carry you? She almost dropped me once before. It's pretty hard to hold on to someone, especially without the leverage you have when you're on the ground. The first bugs were arriving in front of Amy. She began dissolving them into their constituent parts and pressing them into Glory Girl's abdomen. When she raised her hand, they were gone. She held her hand out for more to gather while keeping one hand on Glory Girl. Minutes passed before Amy stood and wiped her bloody hands on her pants. Done as much as I can. Glory Girl didn't look done. Scars crawled across her body, angry looking, surrounded by burns from the acid and flames.
I mean, well, as long as she's not dead?
Her skin in areas where the flesh had melted away was so new and stretched so thin that it was translucent, and there was little to no body fat to pad the area between skin and muscle.
Can you say that again?
There was little to no body fat to pad the area between skin and muscle.
It's not like she had that much body fat to begin with. Okay, good. Skin and muscle. Go on.
Fix her, Tattletale said. You know what you did to her. You know it was wrong. Undo it and walk away. Can't. Amy shook her head. I said I've done as much as I can, but there's so much more I need to fix. The parts I made with the bits I took from bugs will need to be replaced with real flesh. That's her choice. You saved her life, good on you, but you need to let her make the call. Why do you care so much? You're a bad guy.
Oh man, there's so many blurred... Dude, there's so many blurred lines out here. I'm sorry. I need a moment to process all of this. So, okay. Why? What?
Oh, yeah, Tattletale replied in a dry tone. I'm evil, right? Maybe that's all the more reason to listen if I'm saying that something's fucked up and wrong?
I'm very confused here. What is wrong here? What is wrong? The fact that, like...
What is Tattletale telling Amy to do? Do you know that?
Let's go over that again.
She's saying fix her. And what she's referring to is the mind part.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Fix her mind, right? And she's saying you saved her life. Just fix her mind and then leave her alone, is what Tattletale is saying.
Okay.
Right? And Amy is saying, no, I need to get more parts. I need to replace it with real flesh.
Okay.
Yeah. Amy shook her head. She needs to eat, and I need to rest. I can speed up her digestion like it did with breaking down the bugs inside her. But I need so much material that it's going to take a lot of food.
You're not hearing, are you?
If I'm going to get everything she needs. One night, and I can make her normal. Tattletale shrugged.
Normal except for one thing, huh?
That's fine. Just undo what you did first. If she fights me and doesn't let me finish, that's her choice, Tattletale repeated herself. No,
that's a good point.
That's not her. That's the change I made doing the talking, or the aftermath of it. Even if I removed all the neural connections that have been made since, there's so much more in the emotional cocktails and hormonal balances. She's channeling it into anger instead of love. Love. The implications were so fucked up. It was the sort of thing Heartbreaker did.
Oh, damn.
She hugged her arms against her body. There were tears in her eyes. You need to fix her mind now. For you, not for her. Maybe she'll forgive you at a later date, when she's thinking clearly again, Tattletale said. Maybe then she can approach you. You two can start interacting again. You rebuild that trust over months or years, and you can finish healing her body when she gives you her permission. Or...
She's got a good point, actually. Now that I think about it, that body stuff can definitely come later. She has the ability to do that, doesn't she?
Like, she's stable now, right?
Well, no, I'm saying that is an option because Panacea has the power to do that.
Exactly, right.
But she can always, she can always just put a pin in it and, come back to it
later. Yeah.
So she has the ability to do it. That's a good point.
Or I can fix her now. Undo what I did and then walk away forever because I don't deserve forgiveness and she shouldn't have to live like this because...
Oh man, there's a lot of layers in here.
Because the wrong I committed fucked with her focus or made her too aggressive or... It wasn't like that, I said. She didn't have time to react. I was watching. These injuries Crawler inflicted were not your fault. Doesn't matter. She would have reacted sooner if she'd been getting enough sleep, if her emotions weren't off kilter.
Oh no, girl, you're doing that thing where you're blaming yourself for everything.
Amy, I started. She shook her head so violently.
That's way too much to be taken credit for. And I can say that now after I've had therapy for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a year ago, like, I was in this place a year ago. You know me.
Yeah.
You know me. I was in this place a year ago. You know, I'm just a DDS, but there is a lot of responsibility I feel like that comes with things like this. Like, part of why I was okay, like, with just, you know, my current job, and, like, full disclosure, if I had gotten into medical school, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. I would have died about 100 times over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have, like, the number of times where, like, I considered offing myself, like, even in, like, undergraduate, not good, you know? Like, God, I think I've been considering offing myself since middle school, to be completely honest with y'all.
There is a lot of guilt.
Yeah, there's a lot of guilt. And the thing is, like, if you take the oath and you want to, like, do good things and help people, and you have, like, little to no self-esteem yourself, you put other people above you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, again, this is just me going off on my own rant here. Part of why I like BSD is because there's it introduced me to this book, No Longer Human, and I felt that. Like, I can't say I related to the protagonist all that much, but the words "no longer human" are in Japanese disqualified from being human. It resonates a lot with, like, certain types of people. I mean, I'm gonna put myself in this category. If you have no self-esteem and you don't think of yourself as a person, if you think of yourself as being kind of lower than dirt, then where does that put everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Way higher than you. And so for you thinking that you are lower than dirt and that you have harmed these higher beings, what does that do to you? Like, that makes you think that you are not worthy of, like, literally anything. And that includes the right to being alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I understand where she's coming from. On the, like, you know, if you feel like you fucked something up, and if you feel like you've done one thing wrong, if you don't think of yourself as being equal to other humans, you feel like you need to apologize for it 100 times over in as many different ways as you can. So, of course, here that translates to being, I guess, able to just fully do everything. I'm not sure exactly. To me, this is almost verging into, like, the creepy turf, because as far as I know, Wildbow has never been in the exact situation where I have been in.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of guilt and burnout that healthcare workers endure is, at least I feel like in the US, it's extreme.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
med students have a very high rate of suicide. And, like, it's just doctors and dentists, like, healthcare workers in general, we have a very high rate of depression, suicide, drug usage, addiction, because of the weight of the responsibility that's put on us, and the fact that, like, you know, people do entrust us with their lives or their well-being, and, you know, if you've done anything wrong and you don't have that self-esteem, you know, it's terrible. One of the things that my therapist said to me recently, healthcare workers, a lot of us come from backgrounds where we have been emotionally or physically abused, and the thing is, abuse victims make amazing doctors, he said, and he's right. A lot of the people that I know in school, a lot of the really good ones were people pleasers because they were kind of bullied into it by their own families. One of my friends, she's only, I think, one of the best people I know with her job. Her parents are narcissists. They said horrible things to her at her wedding. Like, I wanted to, like, take her away from them. I'm used to this. So I do wonder, like, where Wildbow got, like, the inspiration to write all of this kind of thing from, because this is Amy's psychology here. He's giving you a peek into my reality, and I'm actually kind of wondering, what we're seeing in Worm is, like, the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
I have the whole thing here inside me.
Right.
So I do wonder, like, how did somebody like Wildbow come up with this? You know, because I would have expected that really only the people who were in the know would know about this, because I didn't know about this when I dreamed about being a healthcare worker.
Right.
You know? But yeah, like, I completely understand where she's coming from. I like messed up a couple of procedures, and that made me try to kill myself about half a dozen times last year.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. Panda's getting a little real here. Sorry, you were asking me something. What was the original point we were trying to get to?
I don't remember.
I know where she's coming from. Just that I know where she's
fair.
coming from. You do feel like you have to make amends, and then you have to go away forever.
Yeah.
Because you feel like that's the only thing you can do to right the situation. If the only problem is you, why not remove yourself?
Right.
So I feel like that's where she's coming from, and I get that.
Yeah. Josh says Wildbow's mom is a nurse, if I recall correctly.
Okay, there we go. So I'm just like, people who don't work in this field don't know.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Then now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I get it. Honestly, I get it. I get all of this. I get also wanting to like fix things, but understanding like legally and ethically, you do need the other person's permission to fix things.
Mm-hmm. She shook her head so violently that I stopped mid-sentence. I can almost feel right about this. I patch things up, and then I go. Amy bent down and touched her sister. Glory Girl stirred and sat up. With Amy's help, she stood. You're lying to yourself, Tattletale said, and you're making things worse. I'm keeping her complacent.
Oh, no. You've gone into bad territory. Keeping someone complacent, at least as far as I understand it, means drugging someone without their permission. Okay, you crossed the line. Okay. Before, you were in gray turf. You have done crossed the line now. Ooh.
I'm okay with it if she doesn't forgive me for it. Don't deserve it anyways. I do this.
It's twisted. It's very twisted. What am I trying to say here? It's like, oh, it's okay if she doesn't forgive me, she said, as she continues to do the thing that's going to make Glory Girl hate her more and forgive her less.
Yep.
Girl!
I do this, and then I'll go somewhere I can be useful.
You say that, but you could just stop right now. Okay, if I had a friend like Tattletale who was just that good and was right about a lot of things and was, she has information superpowers, right?
Yeah.
I would just fucking trust Tattletale on this one.
I don't know if Amy trusts Tattletale.
Okay, fair, but I'm just saying, if I had a Tattletale with me, I would trust her.
Right.
Oh no!
Only reason I haven't made more of myself and my power is because of the rules and regulations about exploiting minors with powers.
Made more of myself? Who's talking?
Amy.
What do you mean more? Oh boy, you were holding back?
Either go into government or don't work at all, and didn't want to go into government because they would have made me a weapon. And
God, they would have Yosano'd her. There's a character in Bungo Stray Dogs who was a child soldier. Spoilers. She had a similar power as Amy. What her power does is, if you were on the verge of death, she can bring you right back to life in perfect condition. They've had her be on the front lines as a nurse while she was like 14, and she would have to keep bringing people back to life.
Yikes.
That's what they did to Yosono. It was really fucked up. Oh my god, I have to go to work tomorrow. Ugh. I have to work in healthcare tomorrow. I need to take a day off. Oh god.
They would have made me a weapon. And because I needed to be with my family.
They probably would have made you into a weapon. That's fair. They would have.
Mm-hmm. And because I needed to be with my family. She smiled, but it wasn't a happy expression.
Girl, I needed to be with my family. That worked out well.
Burn that bridge. But I'm 16 now. I can get a job somewhere. Start making a real difference with my power.
I'm flashing back. I'm just flashing a Little Mermaid. I'm 16. I'm not a child anymore. Yes, you are, young lady. Sit down. You are literally half my age. Less than half my age. Good God, I'm old.
And the last thing you'll do for your family is this?
Oh, ouch. Ouch. Good point, though.
Hypnotizing your sister when she's already mad at you for assaulting her and fucking with her head? Tattletale asked.
Ooh.
The last thing I'm gonna do is fix her.
The last thing you're gonna do? So what are you gonna do before then?
A means to an end. I step forward a little. Trust me when I say I've been down that road. I don't recommend it.
Oh my god, the villains are telling you, okay, this is a bit... The villains are like, okay, this is a little bit much for us. We think you need to back off. These people have knifed people. These are people who have, like, set people on fire, like, burned them, like,
cut out someone's eyes.
Cut out someone's eyes.
Yeah.
These are people who have, like, just been like, yeah, we've done a lot of maiming and killing and, like, manipulating over the years, but this is a little too much for us. Ooh, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the juice. This is so juicy.
Okay, I have no clue what Isha Moradin's referring to. But the comment is that or all her body positivity is focused on what is apparently an absolute dump truck. What's that in reference to?
I don't
Okay,
know.
Isha, if you can give us context on that.
We don't know what's going on here.
Panda said a lot of stuff, so we don't know what you're referring to. You don't understand. Wasn't it only a little while ago that you admitted you couldn't figure out what you needed to do to put things right? You asked me to make the call.
Is Taylor talking here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you had the experience in making calls on morality in dangerous situations. Situations where I can't even think straight, Amy said. Her voice hardened a little. But I have the impression that you don't have that same expertise when it comes to family.
Okay, 1, ouch, that was really mean. 2, that was uncalled for. 3, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I'm gonna underline that one. I don't think you know what you're talking about. And listen, I get it. My family's emotionally, I love them and they're wonderful people, but they're also very emotionally manipulative. So I don't know what you're talking about, Ames. Okay, Ames, put the sister down and back away slowly with your hands in the air.
I thought of my dad, and it sat heavily enough in my mind's eye that I couldn't formulate a response.
Oh no. Oh no. Why butt? Why butt?
Uh-huh.
Oh no, why butt?
Oh, the tower is saying he obviously means that Amy is distracted by Victoria's ass.
Or what's left of it.
Or what's left of it.
I'm sorry. I just kind of assumed that, like,
It's got burned.
I've kind of assumed that
actually
Amy is like, or not Amy. I'm assuming that Victoria is kind of a shell of her former self, but because
literally,
everything's
right?
gone.
All her fat is gone.
Yeah. Like, everything's gone, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't have that much fat to begin with, so
Probably not, yeah. Gru formulated one for me. You're one to talk.
Oh!
I'm trying to fix this. Amy raised her voice. Why are you making this a thing? Why do you even care? Tattletale shrugged. I talked about it with Gru, Bitch, and Regent. We were considering offering you a place on the team.
Oh!
I looked at Tattletale in surprise. I glanced at Bitch. Even her. Amy scowled. As if. You're such hypocrites. Regent mind controls people all the time. Regent mind
Never pretended to be a good guy while he did it.
Regent mind controls the monsters, the bad guys, I said. Taking advantage of bad people for selfish ends.
Is it a selfish end to take control of Shatterbird so she doesn't kill everyone in the city?
Right?
Asking for a friend.
What you're doing is selfish, Tattletale cut in. You think you're doing it for her, but you're only doing it to soothe your own guilt. No.
That's true.
Amy said.
Tattletale has it.
She glanced at me. Thank you for bringing her to me, so I could help her.
Oh dear.
I don't want it to be a nasty surprise, so you should know I didn't give the bugs I designed any proper digestive systems. They'll starve to death before the week's over, but the 9 will be gone by then. If they aren't, we're all fucked anyways, aren't we?
I mean, do you really know that?
She doesn't really know that.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
I looked down at Atlas, then back to her. I clenched my fists. I'm using them to help people.
That is true.
Regent is fuming in the background because they said mind control and not body control. Lol. I think this is a subtle, like, fandom thing. But you can probably pick this up. Actually, no, Regent actually ranted about this, like, several chapters ago. He's very adamant about his power being body control and not mind control.
Ah.
Right?
Okay,
and
that's fair.
And this because, his dad does mind control.
Oh, that's right. He has daddy issues.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm using them to help people. For now, sure. In the future, I couldn't be sure. So I put a time limit on them. Let's go, Victoria. Hey! I shouted. My swarm stirred around me as the pair turned to walk away. No, Taratella said, putting a hand on my shoulder. But she's not thinking straight. We've all been there. You don't want to start a fight. We've got other enemies to focus on without making more.
Oh shit.
I was pissed off enough that I wanted to hit someone. I couldn't even articulate the entirety of why I was so angry.
Because you delivered Glory Girl to her. Now Glory Girl's headed for a fate worse than death. Oh shit. Oh shit, I am entertained.
I'd gone out of my way to be nice to her, to empathize, to save her sister, and save both of their lives.
Therefore, she owes you something. Isn't that right, Ms. Nice Guy? Where's your fedora, huh? Sorry, I had to say it.
And this was how she repaid me? A slap in the face? A final gesture to make her distrust for me as blatant as possible?
She never trusted you to begin with, to be fair. I feel too bad.
I could try, Gru said. I've seen her power, but I don't get the full picture. I might kill it, or fuck it up somehow. Please, I said. He raised one hand and created a wave of darkness. It passed over the two girls. I brought Atlas to Gru, and he laid one hand on the shell. I could feel shifting in Atlas' mandibles, head, thorax, and abdomen. The shifting stopped the same instant I saw Glory Girl spear straight out of the top of the cloud of darkness, flying high with Amy in her arms. Did you finish? I asked. Couldn't say, he sighed. I searched Atlas with my power, trying to get a feel for his physiology. As with all the other instances, everything about him was invisible if I wasn't looking specifically for it. A black hole in the database of knowledge my power provided. He was created, and there was no genetic blueprint that my power could decrypt and analyze to figure out what part served the given function. When I reached the area Gru had affected, I found it even darker, untouchable. The nervous system wasn't something my power could interface with.
But the nervous system with bugs?
Yep.
Okay.
I had to model it off of something, and I get the feeling I don't have the same innate knowledge that Panacea does, Gru told me. The only thing I have any knowledge about is myself. I don't know if it's going to work, but he has a human digestive system.
Wait, it's a beetle. It's a giant beetle, the human digestive system? There's no way this could go badly. There's no way something really bad could happen as a result of this. Feed Bonesaw to it.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that.
Feed Bonesaw to it.
Yes, that's right. She'll be fine. I'm an asshole. No, but seriously, try it. See if it has a human digestive system. I mean, I think technically that still makes it capable of digesting. Actually, I mean, you can digest a normal human flesh, but then again, all of the Slaughterhouse 9 have been reinforced with whatever the fuck they're reinforcing teeth with. You still can't do that. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The beetle, it's like, maybe if you just crush everything in the... No, this is what you do. You put Bonesaw in a blender, and then you feed it to the beetle, and you just see if anything comes out.
So does that count as cannibalism if you feed a human to a beetle with a human digestive system?
No, because it's still a beetle.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I know what I'm talking about here. No, it doesn't count. Look, I just think it would be funny. I think it'd be, I know I have a very twisted, I know,
all right.
It's not funny, but I know it's not funny, but it's funny.
It's hilarious.
No, I'm just saying.
Yes.
I'm just saying, look.
Eat the little girl, yes, so funny.
She looks like a little girl. She's a monster, whatever. Okay, look, I'm just saying, a beetle with a human digestive system. I would immediately try to feed this thing as many weird things as I could. Dog food? Can it digest dog food? Can it eat leaves? What do beetles eat anyway? Detritus? I think it's detritus.
I think it's detritus, yeah.
Yeah, can it eat poop? What can it eat? Can it eat broccoli? Just, I don't know. Suddenly there's a beetle with a human digestive system, and I just want to explore the possibilities. I just think it'd be really. I don't know.
It should be exciting, yes.
You understand why I was never allowed to take home the hamster for the weekend in elementary school. I'm kidding. That wasn't even a project. But I don't know why. There's something highly, highly amusing about the fact that this beetle has an actual puckered, juicy asshole.
Hey. You brought it back. Congratulations.
At the tail end of the old year. Hey, but oh my god. Can this beetle drink? Can this beetle have a beer? No, wait, it has a digestive system, but not a liver, right? Not a human liver. Although, does that count?
The liver probably. No, wait, hold on.
I mean, I feel like the liver counts as part of the digestive system. It's not the tube, but
do beetles even have a circulatory system? No, right?
Not the kind that we do. No.
So how does the human digestive system like interface with the rest of the body, right? I mean,
maybe it just doesn't.
Maybe not.
Maybe it just doesn't. Maybe it can eat, but like the nutrients, it's just, it goes in and it goes out and there's no absorption, in which case it'll still die.
Yeah.
Heaven's Design Team, we need you.
Okay, well.
No, seriously, feed Bonesaw to it. I don't think it'll hurt Bonesaw very much, actually. I just think it'd be funny.
You just want to see her go for a ride inside the beetle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she'd find
I don't think the
fun.
beetle's that big.
I didn't say we were going to feed her to the beetle whole.
Right. Okay.
I said blender.
Blend her. Yes.
Yes.
Or something close to it that worked with his body. Near as I can figure, everything connects to what it's supposed to.
Hey Alexa, do beetles have a digestive system?
Thank you, I said. Really? Tattletale was still watching Glory Girl and Amy disappear.
Oh my god, another bad joke. Yeah, you know what? They should feed the beetle Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
But
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking it up. Do they have a digestive system? And like, kind of? The answer is kind of.
She glanced down at Atlas. You'll have to figure out a diet that gives him every nutrient he needs and pay a hell of a lot of attention to him.
It's okay. Taylor's a huge nerd. I think she'll very much enjoy this.
If you give him something his body can't process, it could poison him like that.
Oh, so some species of beetle have specialized piercing or sucking mouthparts that they use to inject their prey with special enzymes.
Ooh, enzymes.
Like a certain somebody. And then these enzymes break down the body tissue and it liquefies the tissue and then they suck up the insides.
Ooh, fun. Liquefied bone saw.
I told you, blender.
It's valid, yeah.
I told her, we got a blender. Can this beetle eat Victoria?
Possibly.
I mean, the liquefaction process stopped.
Yeah.
I'm mean.
It could poison him like that. She snapped her fingers.
What could poison who?
If you give him something his body can't process, it could poison him like that. We're still talking about Atlas here.
I know. It eats shit. Without the human digestive system, it eats shit. How are you going to poison this thing?
She snapped her fingers. I nodded.
It does have an alimentary canal.
It was still better than nothing.
Oh, and it has salivary glands. Wow, that's disgusting.
Do you want to just look at beetle digestive systems?
Yeah, why not? Because I'm a nerd too.
Should I pull it up on stream?
You want to?
Send me a link.
I'm looking at this.
We can look at beetle digestive systems together.
Okay, let's get through the chapter and then we'll look at the beetle digestive system.
Okay.
And then we'll determine whether or not it is feasible or not to feed Bonesaw to it.
You got it. I climbed. Sundancer was still...
Or even Jack Slash, or shall we call him Jack Hash?
Sundancer was still clearing a path. I climbed on top of Atlas and rose above the ground, swaying a little in midair as I tried to control his flight enough to hover. Go, Gru said. What? Scout, search, check on the fight. You're restless. Don't like how that thing with Panacea ended. Gru shook his head.
Because it hasn't ended. This is just the beginning. Bum bum bum.
Me either, but we should focus on what we can do in the here and now. And I'm restless because I'm frustrated. There's nothing for me to do here. I can't handle the fire, can't do anything if I'm with you guys. Search for Jack and Bonesaw so we can put them down, Regent said. I shook my head. They disappeared. Literally.
Really? Jack Slash and who are gone?
Bonesaw.
Damn it! They were the best people to feed to the beetle. Go on.
I'm not sure if they're dead or if they found a hiding spot. That's something we can work on, Tattletale said. Siberian was heading to a destination, right?
Oh yeah, can you get her?
Heading southeast? Sure. Did you see what direction Jack and Bonesaw were headed? I nodded. Northeast, from a point a few blocks that way, I pointed. Then I think I know where they went. It's quite obvious when you think about it. A place
Only to you, girl.
A place they could have researched in advance, unoccupied by anyone of consequences, capable of withstanding hits from virtually anything, supplied with food and water.
Oh, one of your territory things?
Obvious. Maybe only to Tattletale.
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
Still, with her hints, I could follow her line of thought to its conclusion.
She's stealing one of your bases. All your bases belong to them.
The emergency shelters for Endbringer attacks, I finished for her. End chapter. You were wrong.
Emergency. Yeah, I guess, you know, the emergency shelters would be maybe less defended and less booby trapped. Yeah, I was wrong. You know, I don't mind being wrong, but I don't like the way you said that.
Sorry. Did you want to go over the bug digestive systems?
Who wants to stay for Panda's fun bug anatomy hour? Yay!
Yay for bug anatomy hour.
We're gonna be bugging out.
All right.
Everyone's gonna log off when they hear that. And I don't blame you.
Here we go. Wait, follow link.
Here we go.
All right. What am I looking at?
You are looking at.
Oh, it lights up?
Oh, it does? Oh, it didn't do that on it didn't do that on the
That was on
mobile
your
version.
phone. I think it lights up on your...
Well, that's cool, yeah, but all insects have a complete digestive system. So they have an alimentary canal, which is, you know, it's just like all critters that have to eat have tube that goes from mouth to anus. You know, fun fact, in creatures like humans, we are deuterostomes. For us, it means the anus formed first.
Right.
Which you do want because if the mouth forms first, you are a starfish and your mouth is your anus. Anyway, yeah, so it looks like, okay, food processing occurs through a tube-like enclosure, the alimentary canal, running lengthwise from the body from mouth to anus. Ingested food usually travels in only one direction, usually. This arrangement differs from an incomplete digestive system, blah, 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 like hydra and flatworms. Right, so let's see, functional specialization. In most insects, there we go, they have 3 functional regions, foregut, midgut, and hindgut. They also have salivary glands, salivary reservoirs, and these structures reside in the thorax. Ooh, so adjacent to the foregut. So, like, they kind of have something that's like a mouth, but isn't really a mouth.
So, a second mouth?
No. It's like, so they have like a tube and all the salivary
glands.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, like, for us, we don't have a foregut, we have an actual mouth. And so the salivary glands are in our mouth. So they don't have a mouth exactly in the same way that we do with like jaws that can flap.
Right.
So all the salivary glands are in that first part of the foregut. So it's like, imagine if, you know, you didn't really have a mouth and it was just part of the tube that's connected to your esophagus and stomach.
Right.
That. Food in the buccal cavity. Oh, they have a buccal cavity. So do we. With the mouth. Sucked through the mouth opening by the pharynx, by the burial muscles. Okay. Oh, okay. So they literally inhale their food. Like,
just, well, that's why they have to liquefy it, right?
I mean, that was talking about certain beetles, according to Google.
Really?
Yeah.
But the things, so they have salivary glands, right?
Oh, they also have peristalsis.
Which means they have to spit out saliva and then, like, use that to mix with food.
No. That was a different bug. This is like a really general thing.
Oh.
This is a really general thing about most bugs. And when I was looking, that's like it said certain species of beetles will spit out enzymes a la crawler, liquefy the food, and then, like, slurp it back up through their mouth parts.
Interesting.
Oh, and some bugs have a crop. The way the birds have a crop. So, yeah, you have a little food storage organ. So their crop would be, I think, analogous to a human stomach.
Okay.
So I guess Gru didn't have to make that many
Changes.
modifications there.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, he doesn't need to know what the names of all these parts are. He just needs to know. He has to make like a partially specialized digestive system. Maybe not as good as a human's. I mean, let's be fair. We don't need any appendices in here. But okay. So yeah, they have some valves, and yeah, let's see, midgut. Yeah, so they have like a sort of. So they have something that actually is pretty close to a human like gut in a way. So yeah, and I guess the blood, it's different in. I think this diagram is actually an ant that I'm looking at. It looks like some kind of an ant, but yeah, I guess that's how it is. Beetle circulatory system. They have an open circulatory system, unlike humans. So, the hemolymph, which is blood, quote unquote, bathes the tissues directly, and the tube-like heart in the abdomen pumps the hemolymph forward. So I guess if the hemolymph just circulates around like the organs, it can just absorb directly. Because for us, we have blood vessels like all around our blood vessels wrapped around like our organs, which helps absorb like the food, right? Like you have a very thin like one cell like lining between the blood vessel.
The nutrients
yeah, exactly. But for them, I guess it's something similar.
Oh.
So but they don't have blood vessels the way that we do. The blood is just, it's just there. It's just a blood, like literally it's just bathing everything.
Right.
So I guess it just absorbs.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah, so it just absorbs straight through.
So that can still work.
It can still work.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how they could poison this beetle when it has survived in Brockton Bay for this long.
Right.
But hey. All right.
The tower says, would Atlas have some pearly whites in his mouth too?
No. He doesn't need them.
He doesn't need them?
No, he doesn't.
Even though Gru gave him a human digestive system?
Old humans do not have pearly whites.
I guess so.
I had to point that out. I'm sorry. It's like humans can eat without teeth. Not very well, mind you, but hey, I make dentures.
Yeah. All right.
Well, that was fun. And
that
it wasn't
was really
even
fun.
And it wasn't even like a full hour. Like Panda's Fun Bug Anatomy Hour. Yay! It was like more like 15 minutes. 10 minutes? 10 minutes. It was very fast.
We spent like 5 minutes on that.
Yeah, you're right. 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, so it's more like Bug Anatomy Corner. Yay!
So,
oh my god, this is a fun chapter.
There was a lot of interesting things.
That so-and-so spoilered and was referring to?
Yes.
Oh. See, that wasn't even much of a spoiler because I didn't even know that this is what was going to happen. I thought something else. I don't know. I thought maybe there was going to be a stabbing or something.
You thought there was going to be a stabbing?
Look, I'm Bloodthirsty Panda, okay?
Okay.
I just, look, I waited, look, I sit here perched at the edge of my seat on this couch waiting for stabbings.
Well, then you should like Jack Slash.
But you make him sound so punchable.
Don't you mean stabbable?
No, I said what I said.
Okay. A lot of people look at this Amy Victoria situation, and a lot of them will say, well, yeah, Amy here is a rapist, right? And
this one's a little tough because the thing is, like, to rape somebody, you can't. It's really hard to rape a human by accident.
Right.
That's where it's a little tough for me here.
So Amy changing,
because I'm just saying, for like a human, it's really tough to be like, whoops, my dick went into your mouth. Like, that's not like a whoops here. This was a little bit whoops because, like, well, this one's a little bit more like a whoops. This is more like me going like, whoops, my hand shook, I cut the wrong tooth.
Right.
That's how it felt like it was portrayed in that interlude.
Fair.
It felt a little bit less like it was like a purposeful like violation. I'm not gonna like defend rapists or anything because why? But it just there's that distinction for me that makes this one a little bit blurrier.
Right. That
to penetrate a human in a way that
requires intent.
Yeah,
right?
And it's really hard. Like, it's really hard for you to stick your fingers into an orifice where they don't belong.
Right.
And and the thing is, sticking your fingers into somebody's mouth doesn't count as rape. But sticking your fingers up someone's does.
So maybe the analogy here would be abuse, more like?
I don't know. Because the thing is, that's why I said it's blurry, right? Because you have violated somebody.
Right.
You did it by accident. So it's weird for me to think of this as rape exactly.
Punching someone in a fit of anger, right?
Yeah, I'd say close. As far as intent goes, it's closer to that. Did you fuck someone up? Absolutely. Could you have damaged someone for life? Oh yeah. By the way, guys, it does not take very much force to break a human jaw. This is something that other websites and other people point out. But in movies, somebody punches the hero and they're like, oh, and then they shake it off and they walk away. No. In real life, your jaw's broken and you will need your jaw wired shut for 6 months and you will be on therapy for the next 5+ years and you'll need a mouth guard for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a small whoopsie can definitely fuck you up for life.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's really hard for me to call this one rape because it's it is kind of rapey, but it also isn't the dictionary definition of what the dictionary or legal definition of rape. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So, the thing is, in our world, there isn't this kind of equivalent of mindfuckery. In our world, I'm not gonna victim blame here, so don't get it twisted, guys. That's not what that's what I'm saying. But in our world, there has to be some kind of an opening in a way for a mind to be invaded. Right. An idea, you can't just you can't crumple, you can't put your fist onto a book, rip out a page with ideas in it, and then put your fist through somebody's head and plant the idea that way. That you can't do that in our world.
No Inception?
No, and oh god, let's not bring Inception into it now. It's getting messier. It's gotten messier. This is messier than Victoria's guts when they were seeping all over the pavement to 2 minutes ago, at least 2 minutes ago in story, but. Yeah, so what do you want me to weigh in on? Is it rape?
I guess what I'm trying to
I will say it's a violation.
Yeah, right? And so the analogy, the real world analogy of the situation,
mm-hmm,
right? It's not just messy because it's a medical consent thing. It's also messy because there is some, I think, analogy of abuse and victim.
Mm-hmm.
Abuser and victim dynamic here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read Ward, but it sounds like Ward really goes into this.
Right. It's like going to the emergency room and finding out that the doctor assigned to you
removed your appendix without telling you,
or was your abuser at some point.
Oh,
right. This is the only doctor who can treat you right now. Everyone else is swamped.
You can say no.
And then you say no, and then someone forced that doctor's forced on you anyway, right? You could sue, right?
You can sue.
Absolutely a crime.
That's assault. Look, the thing. Okay, so I just said earlier, I just blurted out. You found out that the doctor removed your appendix without telling you. That's assault.
That is assault. Yes.
That is assault.
Yeah. So it's just the situation, the way it's constructed, it's just so fascinating to talk about, right?
It really is. I mean, because I don't want to say I have both perspectives, but I have an idea of this. I wasn't stalked by, let's call him, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, I know him.
What should we call him?
We could just call him
Stan? Let's call him Stan.
We can call him Stan, sure.
No, I like Stan from Gravity Falls. I like Stan.
Could we just call him Korean guitar guy?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
That makes him sound like, anyway, here's Wonderwall, and he's not that kind of guy. Anyway, here's BTS. No, he's not that good. That makes him sound cooler than he is.
Okay.
That makes him sound a lot cooler. Granted, he's a very good guitarist, but that makes him sound way cooler than he actually is. And I am not giving him that credit. Let's call him Stu.
Stu?
Best I got.
All right. Let's just
call him Stu. Let's call him Stu. So, yeah. Stu, I'm not going to say he was obsessed with me exactly, but what Stu did wasn't stalking me per se, but it disturbed me. He went out of his way to make friends with all of my friends. And when I say this, I mean he didn't Facebook stalk me so much, but anybody that I talked about, because I like my friends. I talked about my friends, as most of you do. I'm as a normal person, right? You talk about people that you like. The more time you spend with people that you like, the more time you talk about them. It's like if you talk to people about your family a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So anybody that I talked to Stu about, he would make a point of trying to be their friend. it felt like it got kind of invasive. And like and as one of my friends put it, like it went on, the way that this went on, it was like he became friends with my high school friends, with all of my college circle. Even if I wanted to cut him out of my life, it would not be possible to do so without cutting my own old friends out of my life, because he had gotten to know them all that well. And my friends weren't my so-called friends. I'm actually not friends with a lot of these people anymore, so the problem kind of solved itself. But like, they were all just like, you're being unfair to him. But no, it was at my friend. It was as my one of my current friends said, I would not be able to remove him from my life without cutting out a significant number of people who I
because he made an effort to become friends with all of your friends,
and to become very good friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Like, if I wanted to go home to my family's house in Southern California, listen, I did not know. I'm not gonna. It sounds a lot creepier like this, but the thing is, he was really good friends with my friends from high school who lived close to me, right? If I went to go get boba at midnight, there was a chance that I would run into him there, and I wouldn't have had to tell him that I was there. You know? Like, it creeped me out. We went to the thing that really kind of broke the straw that broke the camel's back for me was when I started dating Namor. And we had a lot of mutual friends, and Namor actually lived the next street down from me. I had never spoken about Namor's roommates, despite the fact that I was friends with them. And so I made a point. I started running little experiments like, okay, Stu's making a lot of effort for anybody I talk about, and trying to like do like group hangouts and like always being like, and you know, just finding some way to insert himself. So what if I just never talk about Namor's roommates? But he knew about Namor because Stu had a crush on me, so full disclosure. And I started going out with Namor because I had a crush on Namor. So I was talking to him, and then it was like a friend's birthday, and they were hosting the birthday at Namor's apartment. And so Stu did not know who I was friends with at the party, except for like maybe 2 people. He went really far out of the way to talk to Namor and a couple other people, and he completely ignored all of the other good friends whose names I had so conveniently forgotten to mention to him. So it wasn't like full-on stalking, but it did feel like a violation. So I feel like that's my best approximation to this kind of understanding here. At least this is my situation, like what I know from my lived experience. So like, you know, what Amy did was definitely violating. Like, I would be really pissed because I'm just thinking about it this way. What if Stu had, you know, decided that he didn't want me to forget him, and in the same way that he made it impossible for me to cut him out of his life without cutting out my friends? What if he made it actually physically impossible for me to forget him, or it made it impossible for me to not invite him to hangouts? You know? I would be really upset. I would never want to see him.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't really talk to him anymore.
Right.
So he wasn't invited to our wedding. So on the one hand, I completely understand where like Victoria's coming from here. Like, you know, you've been violated once. You don't want to see her again. That's totally valid. And again, this is why I said, like, look, if you're aware and you just want to say, you know what, just let me die, okay. But I think what Tattletale did was kind of similar in a way to what Amy did, in that, like, okay, I'm going to try to do what I can in my power to try to fix this. And what I can do is, unfortunately, trick Victoria, which this also verges into the assault territory, into letting Amy at least touch her. And in doing so, this actually kind of enabled the events, right? So this is kind of an enabling of like assault almost. So they all have good intents, which is the unfortunate thing here.
Right.
Like, they're all trying to like fix something that was an accident, but they're all a bunch of stupid kids who have emotion powers. And really, that's probably the worst power to hand to a hormonal teenager. Emotion manipulation. That's probably the worst thing you could do.
That's a really good point.
I mean, I would much rather face down a teenager who has super strength, because, hey, you know what? Bones can break and they can heal. Your brain? Your emotions? Ooh. Ask my therapist how well I'm dealing with like any abusive type situations that occurred when I was a child. I'm 33. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good points here. So what's it? The whole, what else did we want to go over? The whole,
I mean, I think I brought up everything I really wanted to, but
okay.
you just wanted to talk about Stu and about that feeling.
Because that's my best approximation for understanding like violation. Again, I'm extremely fortunate that I have not like been like sexually assaulted or like fully stalked or had like serious violations committed against me. That's like the closest I can think of to like a serious violation that kind of sticks with me, because it was like, it's manipulative.
Yeah.
It's manipulative. It was psychological. So that's why like that's the first thing I reached for. So yeah, like it's like, so the thing is, everything Tattletale said is correct. Amy is doing all of this to assuage her own ego. Absolutely. It's hard. Like, the thing is, in my field, if you do something wrong, and I'm a general practitioner, if you do something wrong, I think for medical in America, you do something wrong, you refer to the next person up. If I can't fix it, I will refer you to somebody who can, and I will refund you. If you decide not to go to them, that's on you now. If you do decide to go, then we will follow through accordingly.
Right. You're not going to force them to go.
No,
right?
no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run over to somebody's house in the middle of the night, point a gun at their head and be like, please fix this because it'll make me feel better. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's kind of what Amy's done here.
Right.
I mean, as soon as just like, she touched her and like, oh, she's up, and she's kind of, I made her complacent. And I'm just like, oh, no. No, listen, I have turned patients away from procedures if they showed up at my office and I suspected that they were high or drunk. I turn people away for that because I'm like, you can't consent to having something done right now, because without telling people that that's why, I'll just make a note of like my findings that like, yeah, patient was slurring their speech and maybe wasn't walking properly. Like, if I don't suspect you are able to understand what you're putting yourself through, I will send you home. I'm not having that on my doorstep tomorrow. I'm not having a lawyer on my doorstep tomorrow morning. And also, I think you would feel much better if I did that. So as soon as Amy did that, I was like, oh, and we crossed the line. It is crossed. We're done. You're a bad guy now. You can't do that. You can't do that. Did she ever take any classes in medical colleges? Did they give her an ethics course? Because that should be one of the very first things that they teach you, that you can't fucking do that.
She got an honorary degree.
Rescind that thing. Rescind that thing and burn that college to the ground. Holy shit. You cannot do that. You can't give someone this is why you can't just give someone an honorary degree in medicine and be like, maybe they won't do anything bad with it. Oh my god. This is why I don't believe in honorary degrees. Like, oh, so-and-so has an honorary degree. Bitch, did you pass the test? Were you crying during final season because it's 3 a.m., you haven't slept in a week, and you have 3 more tests to go before you can roll over and pretend to die for a few hours, aka pass out? No? No, you didn't do that? Oh, no degree for you, bitch. Go away. Oh my god. This is a juicy chapter.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
So many thoughts.
It's a really good chapter.
Oh my god. Were people like waiting for me to comment on this one?
For sure. Like,
oh my god. Bo, how did you come up with all this stuff?
In my opinion,
I need to know.
In my opinion, the Slaughterhouse 9 arc can be a drag sometimes, but this subplot in particular has sparked debates countless times.
Debates about
just like who's in the right, who's in the wrong, what should have been done, what could have been done, right? And like I'm pretty certain that like this is one of those chapters where people would just keep talking about it.
Yeah, let me okay, who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Let me think about this one, because I think this is fascinating.
Right?
Because I'm a judgy person.
Yeah.
Let's see, who's in the right? So
we could also save this for just chatting in the channel.
Oh, I'd rather do it live.
You'd rather do it live?
It's
okay.
easier this way.
We'll do it
I don't have to type. My wrists are bust. Just because I actually have an actual physical copy of a diploma from an accredited American medical institution, and I passed ethics classes. In fact, we have to take law and ethics every 2 years, I believe. We have to renew our license every 2 years, and every 2 years they have to remind us of laws and ethics. And by the way, that means reading up on any updates. Law and ethics and infection control. Yeah, we all have this like down pat, so every time it gets easier, kind of, all the stuff that hasn't changed. You just need a few refreshers on what has, but it always goes back to, at least for my training and how I understand it, it always goes back to the patient's decision and the patient's free will. In that case, this is going to be Victoria. So the initial thing, let's go back to the initial thing here. What happened initially? I just remember Victoria was walking away and Amy's like, wait, don't, and grabbed her hand and accidentally did the thing.
No. It was the other way around. Amy was saying, I'm going to leave.
Right.
And Victoria was saying, no, don't come back home, right?
Okay.
Because what had immediately happened was Amy fixed her adoptive father's disability, and also
Right.
also she, I think, fixed his depression.
Oh.
And it was the first time she was like, because the
Girl, can you fix my depression? I'm okay with a little mind rape. Can you fix my depression? Real talk.
Up to this point, she had refused to fix him because his paralysis was related to the brain.
And
so
she didn't want to do brain stuff.
She didn't want to do brain stuff, right? So she refused to do it for the longest time, and that was kind of a sore spot for the entire family, right?
So why did she fix it?
Because she was being attacked by, well, both she and Dad were being attacked by who was it?
Was
Jack
it one of the
Slash?
Slaughterhouse 9?
It was Bonesaw.
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 Oh yeah, Bonesaw came to recruit. Oof.
Yeah, Bonesaw came to recruit.
That was a tough one. Okay.
Jack Slash happened to be there. Yeah.
Okay, Bonesaw came to recruit. Okay, so she had Bonesaw and Jack Slash on her, and the only way she could like get out of the situation was by healing her dad.
Right. Because then he could use his superpowers.
Right. Was healing the depression on purpose?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Ooh. Does he want his... Okay, this one's tough. Did he want his depression cured?
Probably. But we don't know that. We can't,
right.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, most of us don't really... I mean, speaking on behalf of my people, but only a faction of us, I think a lot of us don't want to be depressed. I mean, I certainly don't like moping about wishing I wasn't alive anymore.
Mm-hmm. I
don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, the tower mentioned that R.I.P. Mouse Protector. Do you remember Mouse Protector?
Is the sky green? No.
This was one of the people that Bonesaw, like the Slaughterhouse 9 had killed. And Bonesaw...
Oh, Murder Rat!
Yeah, Murder Rat.
Oh,
so,
I don't remember what he did.
So Amy's adoptive father, Mark, he killed Murder Rat.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so Amy fixes Mark and then decides, I need to leave home now. Because she did the brain thing. She did the brain thing.
And she's punishing her. So in other words, she's punishing herself.
Yeah, she
for breaking a taboo that she herself set.
Yes.
And by healing somebody that everybody else really just wanted her to heal anyway.
Exactly. So she broke this taboo of her own and decided to leave. Glory Girl goes after her. Right?
So this is just her making up her own little rules, her own morality system, and then deciding she needs to So she is the police herself then. She feels like the only person who can police her is herself. And so
I guess so.
That's what she's doing. She's literally policing herself.
Right.
I'm judge, jury, executioner. I have decided that I have done something wrong. And so because I have done something wrong, I must punish myself, ergo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
on top of that, I think she was feeling down about
I was just about to say, like, is she depressed? I think she's depressed. You want to fix yourself? Oh, she can't fix herself. Damn! Seriously, Pago, you need to spring for CBT. Everybody needs it.
Yeah. So...
Oh, wait, she doesn't work for Pago. Oh, oops. Rip.
Yeah. So Victoria goes after Amy.
To try to tell her, like, hey, it's okay.
Yeah, come back home. Like, talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. Spend time together, right?
Okay, I'm going to say Victoria's in the right here because she's just trying to talk to her sister and bring her back home when her sister's having a bad episode. And that's a very normal thing to do.
I think Amy said, like, leave me alone and don't touch me. I'm going to say Amy's confident she said don't touch me multiple times.
Okay, yes. So this was just an accident. I think before I compared this to two kids like holding like a loaded gun and then somebody pressing it and it went off.
I guess so.
I think I made that comparison before.
Sure.
That's what this is.
Because when Victoria grabbed onto Amy's hand, Amy used her power on Victoria's mind.
To make her love her. Was that done on purpose?
It's unclear.
And that's why this argument is here, because it was unclear. If she did it on purpose, then I'm going to say the fault is with her because, you could have just left well enough alone.
Okay.
I'm going to say that it's fault.
I actually think this information I'm about to tell you, I believe this is word of God or just him explaining the situation outside of the story.
Okay,
right?
Look, that's fine.
Are you okay with this?
Yeah, of course I am.
It's either that or it's explanations that come later, but
okay,
honestly,
but if this is from Wildbow, this is from the author, then I'll take it. Go on.
imagine this. You have a crush on someone.
Hi, I have a crush on you.
And
Let's make it
every
you.
day you fantasize about doing a certain thing, right? Right.
Sorry,
So
because
in
it's
Amy's
you, I'm
case,
just like, oh, my brain
every
got
single
places.
day she fantasizes about using her power on Victoria and making her fall in love.
Oh,
And the reason you draw these kinds of taboos, draw these lines in your head, like you set these rules, is because you know that if this rule wasn't here, it would be so easy to just do the thing.
Ooh, that is rapey.
Right?
That is very rapey, yes.
And so the first moment after breaking that taboo, in a very highly emotional moment, you do that snap judgment thing that you've been fantasizing about for years.
Ooh, that's rapey. That's pretty much rape, yeah.
It was unclear in the text,
right? But
like
that
word of God
this
wise,
is the explanation,
right?
then that's pretty much look, that's assault. That yeah, that's like okay, because it's a little hard to oops my dick went somewhere. Because it's hard to oops my dick. Let's just compare this to like I guess
fantasizing about kissing someone. Maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go for.
Yeah,
like
okay.
fantasizing about kissing someone, but like if it was like oops I kissed you, like I think that's the easiest I can come up with as where like an oopsie will do it.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can understand fantasizing about like kissing someone or fantasizing about somebody falling in love with you. That's cute. We all do that. But yeah, it's hard to explain it, but the sequence of events in which this occurred, that does, and this being the word of God thing, that does make this really, really rapey.
Right. And then the next time Victoria and Amy
power
meet
over that person.
Yeah.
You have like more power than them, and you can like basically overpower them, not necessarily physically, but you can do that. And so you are in the position of power, and you can choose whether or not to inflict something on another person. That's
yeah. Right?
Yeah. That's a little less of an oopsie now.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think Victoria should have listened, but there's no way she could have known that this is what would have happened. Again, risks, benefits, alternatives kind of thing, right? You need to explain things. I think I used to get some flack for talking too much to my patients, but I was always really adamant that people understand what's happening. The thing I really hate having to do is send home printouts. Like I've had to do that recently because people I had an issue where like somebody actually forgot half the stuff that I was saying to them. I think literally because they weren't wanting to listen because they remembered some things and they did not remember others. Yeah. Ooh. Sorry, where were we? On this one, just my brain went places.
Just about Victoria didn't know what the risks were.
Yeah, she didn't know. She didn't really know. So you can't exactly fault Victoria for being like, no, come on. Because did anybody know that Amy can do this? I'm asking, did anybody know? Was it reasonable for anybody to have figured that out?
Probably not. Because Amy all this time said she couldn't do brains. Right?
Ooh.
I think Tattletale knew because she's Tattletale.
Well, yeah, but she's Tattletale.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the next time...
This is a messy one.
The next time Victoria and Amy meet, it was a few chapters ago, which I hopefully you remember.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
And
then Victoria was super angry at Amy and was saying, "Oh, you're hanging out with villains now, right?"
Like, oh, okay, so that was like your first crime, and now you're committing more crimes.
Right.
You're doing the be gay, do crimes thing, but not in a fun way.
Right.
I like that sentence. Be gay, do crimes. It's funny. Anyway.
Yeah. And Amy wanted to fix Victoria. Victoria was just like, "No, don't touch me." Right.
Reasonable, but also not. I'm gonna say 50-50 on that one.
Okay.
Because she doesn't know if Victoria doesn't know if Amy will fix her or fuck her up more. So that's definitely a risk judgment call. So she doesn't know this. But on the other hand, being an asshole is her lashing out, and I don't know if that was necessary, and I see
Well-
what Amy's doing,
Do you remember some of the lines Amy said earlier in this chapter?
which are
Which
Which
is, oh, Victoria's not thinking clearly because
Which is-
she's taking the love that I put
yeah.
into her,
I think she's actually gotten a good, accurate assessment
yeah,
on that one.
and turned it into hate, right? Which is a nearby emotion, that
Yeah.
the closest emotion she could muster, right?
Right.
So in
I think
other
that's
words, Victoria is acting a little irrationally, but that's because at this point she hates Amy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
You know what? We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up, but this is so fascinating, right?
Okay. So it's almost midnight. You've got. Why don't you hop in the shower first? Because
Whoa, hold on.
you have 7 minutes to wash your hair before. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it for another 24 hours.
Okay. In that case, we are going to hop off, and if you have any more comments or questions, we will answer them.
Leave them in the chat or
Tomorrow or
Leave them
something.
in the thing. Leave them in the doobly doo.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone.
We're
Thanks
gonna
for
try to
watching.
wash out the bad luck and welcome the new good luck.
In 7 minutes. All right.
7 minutes.